You're listening to the Kingdom Alliance podcast. Real conversations for believers who want to grow, lead, and live a life that is aligned spiritually, relationally, and professionally. I'm your host, Michelle Schaffer. Welcome back to the podcast. I am so happy to be here with my guest today. As you know, I took an extended kind of hiatus on the podcast, and I'm thrilled to be back. I love podcasting. I love interviewing amazing people. And I met this amazing woman. Somebody referred her to Kingdom Alliance, and I got on the phone with her and I just fell in love. I said, you know what? We need to have you on the podcast because I think her story is very unique. So let me introduce you to Dian Trabulsy. And if I said your name wrong, you'll have to correct me.
You're perfect.
Oh, great. Oh, good. Okay. She's the founder of Grace May LLC and the creator of Faithfully Legal. It is a boutique legal strategy firm helping faith-driven entrepreneurs and kingdom organizations nationwide build rock-solid legal foundations. She's an attorney that blends professional excellence with biblical wisdom to make complex law simple, actionable, and mission-aligned. Through strategic counsel, workshops, and tailored legal services, she equips leaders to protect their purpose and grow with clarity and confidence. And it's not very often that you come across somebody in the legal field that has this mission-driven heart. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Michelle. I'm so glad to be here.
And, I read your bio, but I would love for you just to expand a little bit more on your story. So maybe share, did you work in law first and then had this shift? I would love to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Right after law school, I went to Northwestern Chicago. I got my first dream job right in Wall Street. So that's when my legal career started to take off. I started working for a public company, and I was, loving it. I was killing it. I learned a lot. We're doing all corporate transactions, governance, business law related matters, right? And I've been doing that on and off for a while. I was since promoted to different positions. I was then got a different opportunity serving as a corporate counsel to another Wall Street firm in New York City as well. But along the line with all those trying and pulling and trying to achieve with the standards as what we typically describe as a success, I just felt a nudge and a little bit void at the same time in my heart. I know the experience and the training I've been gaining is valuable. However, I felt this emptiness in sort of the mission and the purpose that I'm trying to fulfill. And with that in my heart, I didn't think too much about it at the time. I continued to do what we are supposed to do, right? Life is busy, work is busy. And then pandemic happened. We're all going into a new mode of working. We're working from home. We're staying with the family, but we're still doing all those things. It's also during those times I started to, virtually connect to some of the entrepreneurial world, the community. People are starting their business, coaches who are serving online to their clients across the country. And I've been noticing that something that they are doing didn't feel as peace as they should be. And then that comes with a pivotal moment when I was saying, hey, as an attorney had, on me, start saying, you should put this in a legal structure. You should protect your business with a client service agreement. You should have this type of disclaimer on your website, really. So that the communication, the community vibe of the things helped me to get very clear and focus on what actually my career should look like and what exactly I should serve. So my business walk my career walk is a walk with God. It's this walk sometimes a little separate, but I want it to be more in harmony in a way. So as two walks together start to entwine a little bit with the grace of God, I think God is leading me to start my own practice, to start my own practice with a different lens of legal protection and strategy, and to deliver in a new way of the services, completely rooted in faith. So that's really the start of the seeds. And I have this idea, and I start my firm, Grace May, and then we continue to refine it. And I don't know if I'm going too long, but
No, it's great. It's great.
what really comes to mind is that faith and my business should really be together.
Yeah. I think that is something that so many entrepreneurs that are that really are grounded in faith have felt that calling, that felt that pull, and they don't know how to do it. I mean, how do you take your faith and integrate it within your business without blowing up your business? I think that's what people are afraid of. And so so you had this calling and this nudge, did you start in 2020, or did it take time? Like, how did you take, let's tell people a little bit about that, because a lot of people feel the nudge, but then the reality of what does it take and what did you do? If you want to just share a little bit about what the logistics of that look. Did you quit first? Did you start what you were building while you were working this job? And how did that play out?
I didn't start 2020. I was having this nudge, and I was still working in corporate America. And when it really took off was, unfortunately, I and my girls, encounter a car accident. The car accident could literally kill us in a way, but it happened in such a divine timing. Later on, as I'm reflecting this, I thought that's God's way to tell me this is need to be your time. So I was very distracted. I was trying to put my business up. I was doing all the corporate work. I was raising my little family. I was distracted. I wasn't centered. I wasn't grounded. And then in that time, one of the drive, I was near my house, driving my car, literally 1 minute from my house, and the car just took off sideways, went through a metal bumper, end up in a tree, and my both girls are at the back seat. Wow. And we were rushed to the hospital. I was keep questioning, why God you need to do this to me? I was crying, I was yelling, I didn't understand. It took months for me and my girls to recover recover fully and beautifully from something that could take our life. Yeah. The only message during those reflection is that God is saving me for a purpose, and it's a divine purpose that He was telling me for the longest time, for years, that seed, that nugget, but I didn't take action. And He said, the purpose is that first you need to focus. You cannot be distracted like you were before. You need to be focused in serving purpose-driven businesses, and that's the silver lining. Of all the the vague ideas that I'm having, but I since then, and that was 2 years ago. Since then, I was super laser focused, serving purpose-driven business in a way that I put Jesus as my senior partner in my law firm, and I'm counseling him all the time, and that's where we're start serving, and really the business take off since then.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And oftentimes it is, we get the nudge and then we don't do anything. God's like, I'm going to fast forward this for you a little bit by causing a circumstance, or unfortunately an accident in your case. Not saying that God caused that, but I do think that he uses everything. He uses everything in our lives to keep us moving toward the purpose He has us for. And if we're listening, then we can see how He is speaking through every circumstance.
Definitely, absolutely. That's such it's hard to say. It's a difficult difficult situation. However, I'm just so glad I see, what's God's plan in the midst of all this. And I'm just so grateful for this. Yeah.
I'm, there is a stereotypical connotation that goes along with being a lawyer. People feel that lawyers are cutthroat, they're sharks, they're backbiting. You need lawyers, but you don't want to have to need a lawyer because, so as a faith-driven, mission-driven lawyer,
Yeah.
how do you overcome that with people? Because I think people feel that they would I did as soon as I met you and started speaking with you. I was like, oh, how wonderful to know that the person representing me legally is somebody who also aligns with my faith. So how have you been able to overcome that?
Yeah, I think everything starts with our hearts. And if the heart doesn't align, whatever you do is not going to grow healthy or sustainably. Um, to me, faith is first and foremost, and then is being an attorney. And what I felt most aligned is, when, me and my client come together with a call and we start with a prayer.
Mm.
When I was sensing this relief of the breath that my clients is taking after a strategy call with me. And it is those quiet moments I was trying to listen to God to how to wisely store my own firm for the mission of His, for the glory of God. It's those moments that give my heart full alignment and the feeling of fulfillment.
Yeah.
I I just hold very tightly to those moments. I think that's why I'm here to serve in a way that Jesus wants, and continues to serve us. And I wanted to bring that into whatever I do. And I'm lucky, I'm in this industry that I can serve in a very tangible way. But that's just a cherry at the top, right? The foundation is really the faith.
Yeah, I love that. So as somebody is listening, there's a lot of different aspects and areas of the law. Who is your perfect client?
Yeah, is I was always say is any founders, business owners who wanted to steward their resources of this business for their own purpose and mission. You're not just thinking that your business is a platform of course it's a mean of your revenue, your financial stability, but at the same time you're dreaming and trying something bigger. You're having an impact. You wanted to build something with integrity and peace of mind and integrity so that the business can continue to grow and sustain no matter what situation it is. So yeah, if you have a business, I want to help you to support your walk in that way.
You mentioned earlier working with coaches, so it doesn't have to be a C-suite founder. It could be solopreneurs. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Absolutely. Yeah. The majority of our business, they are online business. They're small business. Sometimes it's one founder with a VA, right? But they still wanted to stay in that zone of genius to deliver their services, whatever that might be, but knowing that not only God is holding her and her business in hand, but also He has the foundation from a legal perspective to contain that ownership, that obedience, that resources.
That's amazing. And how as I don't know the answer to this, so this is me just being curious. Can you serve in any entrepreneurs in any state?
Yeah, that's a great question, and we get that a lot. So first of all, our firm is licensed in New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, all the tri-state areas. For this states, we serve clients for from formation of their legal entity all the way to any commercial litigations, representing them in courts. However, we are also a legal strategy firm. What that means is that most of the business clients, we realize the best way to serve them is to help them at the very beginning, along the side, before any legal issues happen, to give them that strategy, that coaching, that education that they need. So for those services, we're happy to help you, establish that legal foundation from all the states in America, but not from a litigation perspective, but from a legal strategy and protection perspective.
Okay, so for those of you that are listening and you are not in the tri-state area, she can help you absolutely to set yourself up so that you don't need to have an attorney because you did something wrong.
Correct.
And then do you work with other faith-based lawyers in other states if somebody did need, like, do you have referrals in other states if somebody did need litigation?
Yes, so we do. And we're happy to refer, not only to other jurisdictions if you need someone to represent you in the courts, but for other practice areas that's outside of business law, we're happy to refer you as well.
Diana, I'm an entrepreneur through and through. And so my brain thinks in business. And as we're talking, I think that something that you should provide or think about providing or pray about providing is a network of faith-based lawyers across the United States. Because, how do I find somebody in my state? And, unless you, a faith-based lawyer, refers me to somebody who's a faith-based lawyer, I would say 9 times out of 10 on their website, they're not going to put at the top faith-based lawyer.
No.
So that would be a great additional service for you to have, is an entire network of faith-based lawyers that can come together, work together, offer your services and, referral service. So
I love that, Michelle. I really love it. I would say, I'm part of Christian Legal Society. It's a nationwide nonprofit organization. Right. I have since made some wonderful connections through there. So there are some faith-based attorneys, and I'm happy to refer through this or other ways. But at the same time, you're so right. We normally don't put our faith at the top of your website, not like me. But we wanted to make sure whoever we're working with, not just lawyers, but anyone that come to your business circle or a personal circle, is aligned with our faith and our values, because everything really, as I mentioned at the beginning, everything comes from here, right? Everything we built, that's the foundation.
Yes, it is. And, interestingly, I started with my faith forward in 2020 as well. I think God nudged a bunch of people in 2020. And I didn't really know how to navigate, because I had always been taught previously, if you really want to be successful, you don't talk about politics and you don't talk about religion, because that just divides people. And so it's been interesting navigating it. And I really learned a lot about it. I would say that people that share our faith, that share that foundation, that love of Jesus, and really feel on mission to do work for the kingdom. They are very excited about working with faith-based collaborators or service providers or vendors. But I will tell you that in the last, by the time this gets released, it'll be 6 years since I started the company.
Congrats.
Thank you. I will tell you that working alongside people that are faith-based is not a guarantee that that there's still going to be a standard that is different than just the rest of the world. I came into what I did with a standard that I believed, if I aligned myself with faith-based vendors, other collaborators, whatever, that it was going to be different. But people are still people. So I say that as a dot, like, people are still people. We're flawed as people. And as wonderful as it is to align with faith-based people, it's still not a guarantee. And that, I do hold believers to a different standard. I do. I hold them to a higher standard of integrity. I hold them to a higher standard of collaboration and honesty. And so I've had some interesting things happen over the last 6 years where, I fight myself thinking, well, you can't be disappointed. People are people. But then I always come back to, but I can be disappointed because we collaborated specifically because of our faith, that connection, that line that we shared. And this other person, it meant nothing to them, that standard. So I love hearing about people like you that are raising the standard. Like, we need to keep raising the standard as believers, because we live in the world. We deal with people that share our faith, people that don't share our faith, people that have completely different beliefs. And I think it's our job to be different, to appear different, to work differently, to offer grace, to be kind, not to not look like everybody else. And I know what you're doing. You do not look like every other lawyer, every other attorney in the world. And so I'm very happy about that for you.
I appreciate you, Michelle. You're the pioneer in this mission, this movement of connecting your faith into your business. So, I have so much respect to you and your business and your journey. I think everyone, me included, have so much to learn from you. Just, how we walk this walk, right? And talking about the standards that you mentioned, right? We call each other sisters and brothers. Because if you think about your relationship with everyone, do you have a same standard as your own sister as you're treating or interacting with some other strangers on the street? No, right? We treat them as our sisters. We're connected by blood, whether it's it's heavenly blood or on our earth. I think that love, that foundation, that trust need to be highlighted. It need to be really, really honored in a way, because we're all in this privileged space, and it's a gift. Everyone that I encounter, I was able to serve in this way. It's God's gift. It's a grace to me, and by myself, I don't deserve it. Sometimes I'm thinking, but I'm walking this walk with Jesus, and then that's my biggest business partner in the in everything I serve. So I have confidence from that.
Yeah, me too. And the my belief as a faith forward entrepreneur is that every interaction we're having, we are representing Jesus. We're representing him. Like, it puts an additional pressure on you to realize that not only are you trying to run a business and make a profit and like do all the right things, but then now you are putting it out there and you're representing Christ. And so it puts a microscope on you. It's it really forces you to be self-reflective in your behavior, the way you communicate. And, I believe one of the things I like to say is represent him so well that people want to know who he is.
Yes.
And so holding yourself to a standard of, not behaving like everybody else. Again, I'm not talking about not being wise. I'm not talking about not stewarding things well, because we're told in the world, be, wise as a serpent, gentle as a dove. So we are called to be wise. We're called to steward people, our finances, resources, our gifts, everything, to this different standard, and do it as if we're doing it for Christ himself. So every time we're interacting with people, we have to remember we're interacting with people as the representation of who he is. And so that is a standard that I work every day to live up to.
I love it.
As we collectively, as believers, do this, then we will represent him so well that people that maybe have church hurt, maybe people that have they had negative experiences with other people of faith, they will take a second look and go, maybe there's something to that. Maybe I do want to know that Jesus.
Wow. I love that. I love that so much. And, to add to that, right? Like, we're representing him from this base of overflow, right? Like, he first, come to us, serving us, still holding us in this way. And from that space, the overflow of love and the trust that he gave us, we are going out to representing him. So I'm like, wow, that's such a gift.
It truly is. It truly is. Now, it doesn't make it easier. Those of you that are listening, let me tell you, it comes with additional challenges on top of all the other challenges that you have as a human being, as an entrepreneur, all the things. But But it's so worth it. I mean, it's so worth it. And aligning yourself with your faith and allowing God to lead in your life and in your business is completely transformative, not just for you, but for everybody around you and everybody you'll interact with. So Diane, can you do me a favor and share with anybody listening or watching, because you might be watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast on a podcast platform, all of her information I will have in the show notes. And if you're watching, it'll be right below the video. But also tell people how they can find you, anything you have coming up, and just give a little commercial about you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you can. Our website is faithfullylegal.com. We have all our resources there, including one of the most exciting one that's coming up is faith-filled business guidance. So this is how you can set up your legal foundation from a faith perspective. And we walk through step by step, and there's 5 areas of legal aspects I want every business owner to be aware of and know how to protect themselves. I'm also on LinkedIn and Instagram under Dian Trabulsy.
Awesome. We'll make sure that her social links, her LinkedIn, and her website are all available. So all you have to do is click. You don't even have to search. And I just want to say thank you for what you're doing and raising the standard in the legal field, which can feel intimidating and scary to people, to a kingdom standard. And I know you're going to be really, really blessed. So thank you for coming on the show, and thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for having me. It's great to be here.
That's it for today's episode of the Kingdom Alliance podcast. Remember, leave people and places better than you found them. Be sure to follow the show, share the episode, and leave a review. See you next time.